democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. The Occupy Wall Street movement moved from the streets to the docks on Monday with a series of actions along the West Coast. Thousands of protesters descended on ports in San Diego, Long Beach, Los Angeles, Oakland, San Diego, Portland, Oregon, Tacoma, Longview, Seattle, Bellingham, Washington, Anchorage, Alaska, and Vancouver to disrupt the commercial traffic of major corporations in the name of the 99%, they said. Many actions led to confrontations with police, resulting in scores of arrests, in some cases the use of pepper spray and flash grenades on demonstrators. Several ports were forced to temporarily cease operations, with 3 terminals in Portland, Oregon and Seattle completely shut down. In Bellingham, Washington, 16 people arrested after laying down on tracks in an attempt to stop trains from reaching the local port. In New York, 17 people were arrested at Manhattan's World Financial Center in a show of solidarity with the port actions. Around 20 people were also arrested in Houston. Police there placed a large red tent over protesters while cutting PVC pipes used to band their arms together. In Oakland, an evening march to the port was led by Scott Olson, the Marine Corps vet, struck in the head in October, allegedly by a police projectile. To talk more about Monday's actions West Coast, we're joined by 2 people in Seattle: Jorge Gonzalez on the National Board of Iraq Veterans Against the War and executive director of Coffee Strong, a veteran-owned, veteran-operated GI coffee house just outside Fort Lewis, Washington. He was pepper sprayed Monday while taking part in the Seattle protest. And joining us in Berkeley is Anthony Levege, a dock worker at the Oakland Port, a union organizer with the International Longshore and Warehouse Union, who helped to organize Monday's protests. Anthony, the International Longshore and Warehouse Union did not endorse this, but you're an organizer with them. What was the difference?
I would like to make a correction with that. I'm not an organizer with the union. I'm just a rank and file member.
And so why did you choose to do this?
I'm part. I live in Oakland, so I'm part of Occupy, but I'm also a member of the ILWU. And the call was out in solidarity of the ILWU to what's going on in Longview, Washington, with EGT and not using ILWU labor. So I felt as a rank and file, I had to be out there to support it and being part of Occupy.
And Jorge Gonzalez, tell us what happened to you in Seattle.
Thank you, Amy. Well, personally, I was pepper sprayed and then shot by tear gas canisters after police started getting more violent towards the protesters. They started using their bikes and horses as well to try and get us off the road. They succeeded, but they still started using flash grenades and tear gas.
Can you talk about the connection of Goldman Sachs, people arrested here in New York at the World Financial Center protesting Goldman Sachs, to your actions in Seattle, in Oakland, and around the West Coast?
Definitely, it's all connected. As a veteran, I see it as Goldman Sachs plays a big part in what veterans want to do. We are trying to organize in the military. The port workers down in Seattle are trying to also organize. Goldman Sachs does not let them organize, apparently. But the profits that Goldman Sachs makes could definitely go to veterans and regular, normal working people of the United States. And that's what we want.
Well, Anthony Levege, the whole issue of Goldman Sachs owning a large stake in the port operator SSA Marine.
I think all the corporations are targeted at this point, not just pointing out one of them. But, yeah, I think they do play a big stake in the SSA terminal.
And the media quoting many of the truckers saying, why are you doing this? You're hurting us more than you're hurting the corporation. We are the 99%, they're saying, Anthony.
That question was asked a lot throughout Monday's protest. And I decided that I'm not going to even respond to that question because that's just a device to keep people from dealing at the real issues at hand, because today's action, if that hurts the trucker or anybody, that's a sign of the times that we do need change, that people are so dependent on missing one day's pay that they can't make it if they miss one day's pay. Those are some of the reasons why we definitely need to have change.
I wanted to get your response to Robert McElrath, the president of International Longshore and Warehouse Union, who opposed Monday's port actions. In a letter to local branches, he wrote, quote, "Support is one thing. Organization from outside groups attempting to co-opt our struggle in order to advance a broader agenda is quite another." What do you think about that?
I think Bob is a representative of the rank and file. And I think that the rank and file didn't have a chance to vote against it or for it. So I think the position of our leadership has been that we have no position. We have nothing to do with this because there was no vote taken by the rank and file. So I think they acted too much into stopping something that they really didn't have nothing to do with.
And finally, Jorge Gonzalez, can you talk about your being an Iraq War veteran and what that has to do with your protests?
Definitely. It's all connected, Amy. Being a veteran, I see the struggle that's going on with the port workers and the truck drivers down in Seattle and across the West Coast. They deal with the same issues like mental health, homelessness. Veterans they see themselves connected with all these issues. We are in solidarity with the truck drivers and the port workers, whereas, like I said earlier, as a soldier, I would have loved to have been represented by an organization that would help me and my interest and my working conditions. And that's what Goldman Sachs is trying to prevent down in Seattle.
I want to thank you both for being with us. Jorge Gonzalez speaking to us from Seattle with Iraq Veterans Against the War, Anthony LeVege, dock worker at the Oakland port. This is Democracy Now!